How many leagues you commentate, by the way?
Currently, if you want to count the IRS, 4.
Jesus Christ. How do you not
There
burn
we
out?
go. What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from International Racing League F1 2019 on the PS4 platform. This is Season 7, F2, Round 10 at Monza. And I've got the ever clever Eric Pettington with me here in the booth for our driver analyst. And coming off of a very exciting race last week at Hockenheim, where things certainly left us in awe at the end of that race.
Yeah, exactly. Very good to be here once again. Germany last week, we saw a new race winner from Williams, Ryan winning the race. Championship leader, D. Jonas, losing his big lead. And now it's basically D. Jonas, Ryan Reeves, and Kevin Harrison fighting for the title. Very exciting race, definitely.
Well, here's the thing. It's interesting you bring up Ryan Harrison because he did win the race. So, as it stands, last week was a bit of a cluster. So, Harry Cooper came across the line first last week, but he was disqualified because he had left the lobby and came back. And per IRL rules, you're not allowed to come back once you leave the lobby because of the corner cutting glitch within the game. That bumped, so Cooper crossed the line first, but he was disqualified. So that bumped Ryan Harrison into the top spot. So it was Ryan Harrison, Sean O'Sullivan, Canville Hoon, your top 3. After the race, post-race penalties dropped Ryan Harrison from first to third. So that promoted Sean O'Sullivan to his first IRL win. Canville Hoon gets second. Ryan Harrison was third. Kevin Harrison was fourth. Thomas Mumford was fifth. Now, Nelson Santos, who finished sixth in the race, was also disqualified for leaving and coming back. So that put Cameron Armstrong into sixth, V8 Field into seventh, Luis Wassman eighth, and then 9th through 14th were all DNFs. It was Dylan Jenkins, Joe Hollis, Jared Fosbury, Jamie Griffith, Sam Thompson, and James Yock. And James Yock has subsequently been banned from IRL because of his shenanigans on track in the wet weather race last week, which is that was the race that he came back for having a half-season ban for shenanigans that he did in the championship round last season at Brazil. So he comes back for one race, ruins his chances, and now he's out of IRL altogether. Crazy race. Germany was absolutely bonkers last week. Do you think we'll see the same thing heading into the race today?
Jesus Christ, that's
that's a lot to take in.
Yeah, you just blew my mind. Yeah. First time I heard about this, because I know you're the main commentator, you know this stuff a little bit better, but Jesus, that means still D. Jonas is leading the championship. I have the standings open. He has 21-point lead over Kevin Harrison. So it's still Kevin Harrison against D. Jonas for the title at the moment.
So, yeah, as it stands, T. Jonas is the points leader with 139 points. Kevin Harrison's actually second with 117. Ryan Harrison is 116. He's 1 point behind him. And Canville Hoon has actually snuck his way into this points battle with 101. So it's kind of a 4-horse race right now. Anything could happen. And let's run down the driver lineup for today. We've got IRL Neon. That's Jared Fosbury in the Ferrari. Mumford Plays is Thomas Mumford. Kevin Harrison will be in the Alfa Romeo. T. Jonas is your points leader. He is back for the race today. Rowan Lakely's in the Red Bull Racing. He has stepped back to a part-time driver. Bjorn Langfell in the other Mercedes. Sam Thompson in the Renault. Nelson Santos in the Toro Rosso. Paco Suarez is back in the Renault. Jamie Griffiths actually has a time penalty that he has to serve the next time he finishes a race. He got a post-race penalty, and it's going to be a 30-second penalty for Jamie Griffiths at the next race that he completes, as he did not finish the race last week. V8 Field will be rocking the Red Bull. Canville Hoon and Luis Wassman is the Racing Point. Ryan Harrison in the Williams. And I don't know who Ricardo is. Joachim Storm, haven't seen him in a while. He's going to be rocking the Ferrari. LR Blaze is the infamous Harry Cooper. And then, of course, Eric Solomon, Eric Pettington with me here in the booth, and I am KAMIKAZE-FOX, and we're looking forward to another wild race today here on IRL. It looks like we've got Jared Fosbury. He's going to be rocking the wheel once again today, and we're getting ready to head into a 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race. And Monza's a low drag setup.
Oh, yeah.
Very fast.
Well, lovely. I mean, I have to say my favorite track in the whole game. 11 corner track, lap times around 115, 116. I mean, 118, 119, I mean, and just a pedal to the metal, full throttle. You don't look back, look forward, just push the car to its limits. Just unbelievable track.
And Jamie Griffiths on the live chat saying he's got a 30-second time penalty for poor internet, so he apparently does not like the decision made by the stewards in regards to his penalty, but it is one of the things that, tries to separate this league from a bunch of other ones. I mean, bad internet can make a poor race for not just you, but for everybody involved, so... The sun is shining. We've got 17 drivers going to hit the track for qualifying. And what is your preferred method of tire strategy as we head into this qualifying session?
Softs and mediums. Everybody, please qualify on softs. Drive the first hit with softs and then take the mediums. Simple as that.
Looks like we do have a lot of takers on the soft tires. Sam Thompson and Joachim Storm and Kevin Harrison, the only three, I should say, who looks like they have set up for the medium tires. They might change that before they head out on the track.
And to inform you guys, if you don't know, yesterday in IRL Division 1 pole position time was around 1:17 and 8. So I assume Division 2 pole position time is going to be 1:18 and 6.
And we've got Luke Baker saying good luck to the F2 guys, and he's an F3 driver, so good to see he's tuning in for the F2 race while he participates in F3. And the track already looks like it's going to be very busy. A lot of guys already heading out onto track. Well, I think the one thing we should probably watch out for is T. Jonas and Bjorn Langfell. They've been pretty good teammates throughout the course of this season, so definitely could be some slipstream strategy here in qualifying, and I would very much like to think that Racing Point will probably do the same.
Of course they will do the same. I think most drivers here in the party, they're going to try to slipstream each other in the main straight, and then they're going to try to slipstream each other after corner 10 of Ascari. And you can gain around 3 to 5 tenths if you use it correctly. So when we're fighting for pole position, it's very crucial that teams work together for the slipstream.
And you do bring up the Ascari chicane. That is
tricky one.
For lack of a better term, it's a very tricky corner. It seems to be a little bit more tricky in the game than it does in actual reality. And you see T. Jonas just had a moment there. I feel like in reality it's a little bit more forgiving than the game led us to believe.
I mean, if you touch the curb even a little bit, your car is going to do 360 and you might lose your tire to the wall. So it's not realistic if you touch a tire with a curb. You should have more grip and not lose grip.
Well, we're currently going to ride along with T. Jonas as he sets off on his first hot lap. I think there's a couple of cars in front of him that are already on hot laps, but we're going to ride along with the championship points leader as he tries to lock down this championship. But after last week's race, I mean, anything is really up for grabs at this point. We've already got a yellow flag in Sector 3. Somebody's slow on the front stretch.
Somebody probably just letting somebody else go.
And T. Jonas through Lesmos 1. Lesmos 2. Another tricky corner. Oh, and a big snap over here. Oh, he saves the car. That was a big tank slapper. That is some quick hands by T. Jonas right there, and he's still on the throttle, so he's not giving up on the lap. Cam Vilhoun sets the first lap time at a 1:19.6, and I think T. Jonas is really stretching the limits of this track. Paco Suarez is retired from the session. That's not good news for him. Looks like he's had an incident with his teammate, I believe. Looks like Ricardo's gone 1:20, 1:12. Kevin Harrison at a 1:21. T. Jonas getting ready to come across the line now, and he is going to go 1:19.310 to the top of the charts. Even with that big tank slapper, he manages to squeeze out a 1:19.3.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that lap was gonna be ruined, so we can expect a lot from T. Jonas.
And Cam Dilhoun goes second quickest with a 1:19.661. Luis Wassman, his teammates right behind him with a 1:19.9. And then Ryan Horen just went to the top of the charts, 1:19.270. So the times are already flying in here. And Kevin Harrison and Jared Fosbury, the two drivers on the medium tires, 1:21. So the only two drivers right now in the 1:21s. We're still waiting on a handful of drivers to set lap times, but not a good start for the qualifying. Now, could you run the alternate strategy? Could you run mediums to softs versus softs to mediums in the race, or is it not beneficial?
I mean, like we saw yesterday in Division 1, safety car can come in the first 10 laps, and if you're running with mediums, not very wise actually to do. It's a big risk. If safety car doesn't come, then of course I'd suggest it, but like we've talked before, Codemasters have patched the game, so softs, mediums, if you want to play it safe. It only takes one time. Safety car comes at one time for you if you're in mediums and your race is ruined.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough call to make. I mean, Kevin Harrison's known for running alternate pit strategies, and I know Jared Fosbury's trying to run, I want to say, a little bit more of a conserved strategy as he's still trying to work out his method of racing on the wheel, still trying to make that adjustment. But if you want to try and be in contention, it sounds like you're the man to talk to softs to mediums. We see Joachim Storm has gone 123s on mediums. He's not the fastest driver of the bunch. We haven't seen him. He's a reserve driver. We haven't seen him for quite a few weeks now. And everybody's dived into the pits with the exception of a few guys. We'll pick up Nelson Santos, who hasn't set a time yet. He's currently on his out lap in the Toro Rosso. He's one of the drivers that was disqualified last week for having some internet issues, or left the lobby and came back. As we said, per IRL rules, not allowed to do that because of the corner cutting glitch. And obviously, if you have a corner cutting glitch, you definitely take advantage of that at a track like Monza.
I definitely thought that you can take advantage. Yeah, Ascaris, especially Curva Grande, and a lot of corners basically.
Which was too bad. Nelson Santos did have a relatively good run going. I mean, unofficially he was 6th, but obviously disqualified because of that. So he had a pretty good run going at Germany last week in the wet. Just what a wild race. I mean, was almost as bizarre as the actual F1 race there last season.
When you add Wayne to Germany, you can expect anything. I haven't seen last time when 3 drivers got disqualified afterwards from the race, and we had to wait few days after we knew what was the original podium. I rarely see that in online gaming.
Well, you got to hand it to the stewards of IRL. I think there's about 6 of them between the stewards and the admins that look at stuff like that, and they have to do it for 3 different tiers. I mean, they've got the F1, the F2, and the F3 tier, so they have to look at all of those videos and clips and claims and reports, and I mean, that's a big task to take on, but I think they did a really good job, and they've very top-notch. The professionalism in this league just seems to get better and better as time goes on. Currently watching Nelson Santos as he heads through a scar. He has not set a time yet, but heading out on the backstretch, he's on the soft tires. We're riding on board with him, seeing what kind of time he can pull out of his hat in the Toro Rosso.
It looks like he's about to do 120 or 119, so I would think he would go around P7 and P6 at the moment. But we'll see. I think it's 120.
124.23, good enough for 8th quickest so far. And Jamie Griffiths has left the session, so...
Luckily it's qualifying. I know the IRL rules, if you disconnect from qualifying, you're allowed to rejoin back. It's only for the race.
So there's still a chance for him to get back in here, and we've got a yellow flag sector 2. Looks like we've got one of the Ferraris off. That would be Jared Fosbury. Might have been a quick on-off. Looks like he's heading through Lesmos 2 now.
Fosbury, not many people probably remember this, but he's IRL Division 2 champion from Season 5. Really been struggling last seasons, but hopefully he'll get his groove back.
Yeah, the first year they did the F2 tier a couple of seasons ago. As you said, he was the first F2 champion. Tried putting up a title defense last year, but Kevin Harrison able to take it to him, but really struggled the beginning part of this year with some bad luck. Can Vilhoun just went to the top of the charts, by the way, with a 119.222. And Fosbury struggled at the early part of the season. He had a lot of bad luck. The first 3 races, I believe he had some DNFs, finished deep in the field. And he's just come across the line, 127.36. So he does get out of the 121s, but a 127.36 on soft tires is probably not the time that he was looking for.
The time I was looking for. And more about Jared Fosbury. He's been going down little by little, season by season. Champion season 5, 6 podiums in season 6, and this season 7, only 1 podium so far, and I believe only 18 or 19 points. So it's been a quite downfall for him, but hopefully he'll find his momentum back.
Absolutely, and as we said, he is making that adjustment from being a pad driver to a wheel driver, so he's taking this time to try and hone in on that craft, and he's hoping to be a lot more competitive going into next season when the F1 2020 game comes out. Now, next season, the game comes out in July. I don't think next season will probably kick off until probably late August, early September seems to be the time frame for IRL the past few years. They like to let Codemasters try and work out some of the bugs in the game before they try and dive into a full season of online racing. So hopefully by then Jared will be up to speed as he's coming around again. Looks like he's probably going to dive into the pits this time.
Oh, and we have Tijanis who lost his car in Ascari. He had to corner cut it massively.
So we'll pick him up as he heads through the Parabolica. And he is going to dive into the pits as well after that snafu. Bjorn Langfell heading into the pits. Still got a handful of drivers that have yet to set a time. Right now, Rowan Lakely and Jamie Griffiths have yet to set times. Paco Suarez crashed out earlier on. And we've got 6:30 left to play, and I gotta say I'm a little surprised I haven't seen a team working together as far as the slipstream goes just yet in this qualifying session. I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah, me too. Especially yesterday in Division 1 we saw so many teams working together, so a little bit odd. They're not communicating as I thought they would, but I guess they're waiting for, qualification, and they think, I can manage by myself. Not the right mentality to go when you have places to get the slipstream.
So what's a preferred wing setup for you versus some of the other drivers?
I prefer 2-3, and if you're a little bit struggling after Ascaria, to just 2-4 wings. It's a very low downforce related track, only straight lines, very low wings. So 2-3 or 2-4 in my opinion.
And got a few guys on the live chat. Lewis Marshall tuning in. He says it's cool that Ricardo's in here. I don't know exactly who that is, but he seems to be excited about that. We got Matthew Alder, your Formula One champion, IRL champion as of yesterday, locked up the championship early on. So congratulations to Matthew Alder, also known as Blizzard, proving once again just how fast he is.
The first ever 2-time champion in IRL, and winning the championships in consecutive seasons.
And you see there, we're watching Luis Wassman. He just went around his teammate Can Vilhoun, and Can just kind of got out of the way. I mean, there's no teamwork there to try and garner a few extra tenths. And Wassman not able to improve his time, unfortunately. So it looks like he's going to go around once again. So 4:30 left to play in the session.
Maybe Can Vilhoun thought he's in pole position. He doesn't want to give his teammate any chance to get close to his time. Thinking about himself. It's an individual sport in the end, and yeah.
So we'll pick up Ryan Hareen. He's on his out lap. He's getting ready to come across the line as he heads through the Parabolica. He's going to start a hot lap. See if he can take that pole position away from Can Vilhoun. We're going to ride along with him here in the Williams. course, hard on the brakes down into turn 1. And as we ride along with him, Eric, why don't you tell us what it's like to be in the driver's seat going around this track?
Well, really good actually. You don't really need to focus that much. You need to just go with the flow. A lot of fast corners. You don't have to use the brakes so much. You let your gearbox do the braking. And magnificent track. It's one of the only tracks where you actually feel that you can push the car to its limits, because you know there's a lot of like 90-degree corners, like fast corners, no slow corners in the track, and as a driver perspective, it's like having sex with a woman, like with supermodel, with Victoria's Secret model. You know, every corner is a little bit different, and yeah.
It looks like Ryan Horen blew it going through the Ascari, and he's out of the throttle. So we'll pick up Ricardo, and he is going to dive into the pits. And we'll pick up Nelson Santos. Looks like his lap time is invalidated, so he is heading through the Parabolica. See if he stays on throttle or if he's going to dive into the pits as well. I love it. I get so much footage of people going into the pits, it's ridiculous. Pick up Joachim Storm, who is in the 122s and just invalidated his time going through Ascari. So his time is null and void, and everybody else is in the pits. So this is 2:30 left to play in the session, and everybody's in the pits. This is about to get very, very busy.
Yeah, do you remember the real life Grand Prix? They all went in the same time in the last second, and there was
nobody made it.
Nobody made it. I don't know if we're going to see that today, but hey, you never know.
So we pick up V8 Field. He is the first driver on a timed lap. So he heads down into turn 1. Actually, Ryan Horen might be on a timed lap, but he is actually 3 thousandths off of his previous time. And really, this might be the last run for Horen, because he doesn't have time to dive back into the pits for a fresh set of softs, so...
Nah, it's his last one. And those tires can only do 1 lap.
So Ryan Horen, we're going to see what he's got left in the tank. Going to be a last-ditch effort. 1:30 left on the clock. Comes across the line, 1:19.101. He's able to snatch it out in the last 2 sectors. So Ryan Horen to the top of the charts. Unbelievable. We'll pick up V8 Field. He's the next driver on a timed lap, and he's currently 14th in the field, 1:21.278 so far. And he improves his time. He's up to 13th with a 1:24.01. We'll pick up Canville Hoon and Luis Wassman. Wassman is... And where's T. Jonas? Look how busy it is on the backstretch. Oh, my goodness.
It's like a Sunday drive. Well, it's Sunday still, but...
So Canville Hoon heading out onto the front straightaway. See if he's got anything to take back the time to beat Ryan Horen with a 1:19.1. And again, I'm really surprised I did not see any team strategy, especially at least here at the end. You would think at least that for a last-ditch effort, somebody would slipstream off of somebody.
Yeah. That's why they're driving in, you know, they're driving into individually. They want to win. They don't want to help their teammates out. But yeah, but it's good. Hey, everybody has a fair chance. You don't slipstream each other. You know, may the best man get pole position.
Well, Ryan Horen is officially retired from the session. His time is locked in. It is the time to beat. We ride along with Canville Hoon down the straightaway here as we head towards the Ascari. Got yellow flags flying in sectors 1, 2, and 3. People on their outlaps, cutting corners. Ooh. Vilhoon really pushing the limits of the track here.
Yeah. And he's getting the slipstream from Toro Rosso, so we have one driver at least getting slipstream.
He's getting a little bit of a slipstream off of, looks like that's going to be Thomas Mumford. Currently classified 13th, to see if Mumford can improve his time. And Ken Vilhoun with a 119 flat to the top of the charts.
That's the slipstream, baby.
We'll pick up T. Jonas as he is. Oh, and T. Jonas just rear-ended Luis Wassman at the Parabolica. And that has ruined a bunch of people's laps.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And that is, I don't know what to think of that. That's,
it has to go for an investigation.
Well, it looks like Wassman's time was already locked in, so the car was, I guess, technically AI at that point. I don't know. I don't know. It only raises an eyebrow because it was a Racing Point that took out a Mercedes with a Racing Point on the pole position. So here is your starting lineup. Ken Vilhoun with another pole position. Ryan Herrera will be starting in second. T. Jonas is third. Luis Wassman is fourth. Ricardo is going to be fifth. Sam Thompson sixth. Rowan Lakely with a good qualifying effort for seventh. Kevin Harrison is eighth. Bjorn Langfell is ninth. Harry Cooper is 10th. Jared Fosbury 11th. Jamie Griffiths is 12th. Nelson Santos 13th. Thomas Mumford is 14th. V8 Field is 15th. Joachim Storm is 16th. And Paco Suarez, unfortunately, did not set a time.
To add to your point, T. Jonas can be very, very lucky that Luis Wassman was AI, because if you hit the AI who's already finished the lap, you're not going to get a penalty. So Jonas can be happy not getting 5+ quit penalty.
Yeah, it'll probably be investigated regardless, but that's the perspective that I had. It looked like his car was already AI. As you saw, there was another Toro Rosso there, Toro Rosso of Nelson Santos at the Parabolica as well, also going very slow. So I think that was just bad timing, and unfortunately, he's still starting in the third spot, so I'd rather be starting, that much closer to the front. I think the guys in the rear of the field, I think guys we really need to watch out for heading into turn one is going to be like Joachim Storm, V8 Field. Everybody obviously wants to try and make up as many positions at the start, but Monza's just not the place to do it. Turn one can be very hectic. So we're going to do the formation lap. Ken Vilhoun with a pole position. And he's had many of them this year. Let's try and take a look. Actually, he hasn't had many. This is his second pole position of the season. Last time he had one was back in round 2 in Bahrain. But Racing Point has had a lot of pole positions this year, so see if what he can do. Starting in second is going to be Ryan Herrera. See if he can snatch a win away from Ken Vilhoun. But T. Jonas is going to be starting in third. Your points leader, he's going to want to get out in front for sure. And definitely he needs to finish in front of Ryan Herrera as Ryan Herrera tries to close in that points gap. Luis Wassman will be starting in the 4th spot. And Ricardo, making his IRL F2 debut, be starting in the 5th spot in the McLaren. And Sam Thompson, coming off of a DNF last time out, it's his 4th DNF of the season, will be looking to finish the race, put some points on the board. Rowan Lakely, who was a full-time driver earlier on in the season for Ferrari, is now a reserve driver in the Red Bull. And Kevin Harrison, second in the points, starting deep in the field, and it doesn't look like he's going to be running an alternate tire strategy. It looks like he might have missed the setup on this car. Qualified 8th. Bjorn Langfell, T. Jonas' teammate, also starting deep in the field. See if there's a little bit of team strategy there for Langfell to maybe get in front of Harrison and possibly slow him down a little bit. Harry Cooper in the Haas. Technically, he won last week, but he was disqualified, and we'll see what he does today as he starts in 10th. And Jared Fosbury in the Ferrari. And it looks like we've got Jamie Griffiths is glitchy once again. So apparently he's having internet issues still. He'll be starting in the 12th position. Nelson Santos, he was also disqualified from last week's race. He'll be starting in the 13th spot, see if he can work his way through the field, maybe put some points on the board. Thomas Mumford going to be behind him also for Toro Rosso. V8 Field be starting in the 15th spot. Joachim Storm, who we haven't seen a whole lot of this year, be starting in 16th. And unfortunately, Paco Suarez, a very quick driver, but unfortunately crashed out in qualifying. So we'll see if he can put some points on the board today for Renault. And that is going to round out your 17 drivers heading into today's race. I got a feeling we're going to see a very hectic start. V8 Field has already left the session, so V8 Field is not going to be a part of this race, apparently. Okay. Nope. Wait for the 5 red lights. Lights out, time to run what you brung. They're away in a puff of smoke, and that's a good start for Calhoun. T. Jonas looks like he's got some tires. God, I can't even think. There's some. Oh no, there's a Ferrari off. Oh my goodness, that is.
Two Ferraris off. Two Ferraris off.
That's Joachim Storm, Jared Fosbury. Oh no! Storm goes around.
That's a safety car. It has to be.
No, that was Jared Fosbury. Oh my goodness. Fosbury, virtual safety car. Fosbury trying to get the power down. The tires slipped on him. Same thing happened to T. Jonas at the start. That's what I was trying to say. He had some tire slip, it looks like, at the start of this race. He lost the position to Ricardo. Ricardo already up into third. Luis Wassman's dropped down into fifth. And wild first corner. And then obviously we've got V8 Field, who left the session right at the drop of the green flag. So and I'm actually looking at the live chat, and Jamie Griffiths and Lewis Marshall bringing up a good point. If Luis Wassman retired the car on track in qualifying, that could result in a penalty for that incident with T. Jonas. So, but right now, but right now it's all about racing. We're back to green flag racing, and looks like Ryan Horan got a good jump under the virtual safety car. He's side by side with Can Vilhoen. He's going to try and go around the outside, but Vilhoen's got the better line heading into the turn one, and they're bumping and grinding. A little bit of argy-bargy there going through turn 1 and 2, and here comes Ricardo. And Ricardo's all over the back of Horan. There's a 3-car battle for the lead right this second. Unbelievable. Oh, and again, Horan's going to try and dive to the inside. Oh, and again, they're rubbing shoulders with each other. Horan into the dirt. Ricardo goes around to the outside and passes him as he heads into Lesbos 1. Great move by Ricardo.
Great move. Great defending from Canverhoen. Great fight from Ryan also.
Yellow flag sector 2.
V8
Looks
field.
like V8 Field, and that car I believe is AI still, so that's inconsequential. And through the very tricky Ascari. Looks like T. Jonas gained a little bit of time heading through Ascari. He's all over the gearbox of Ryan Horan. See if he can use that slipstream and get to the inside of him as they head down into the parabolic. He pulls out.
You don't want to make foolish maneuvers. You don't want to make foolish maneuvers. That's your championship rival you're fighting against. So and you have over 20-point lead. So no foolish maneuvers from T. Jonas. He wants to win the title.
And Can Vilhoen trying to snake down the front straightaway, break up that slipstream a little bit. Ricardo taking a defensive line, trying to hold off Horan. And Ryan gets a good run through that first. Oh my goodness! T. Jonas and Luis Wassman almost had a moment there. V8 Field has retired from the session.
In the pit lane. Without in the pit lane, so that means no safety car.
That's good on him, even though the yellow flag flies in sector 3. That'll go away, so that's no issue there. Oh, and it looks like Paco Suarez has just blown the second chicane. Actually, that wasn't Suarez. That might have been Sam Thompson. Yep, it was Sam Thompson who blew that second chicane. So it looks like Ricardo was able to get in front of Horan, and Horan now still trying to hold off T. Jonas. Crazy opening 3 laps of this race. We already had a virtual safety car. Whoa, and a big tank slapper by Jonas again coming through Ascari. We saw that in qualifying a couple times. So Jonas is right on the ragged edge with that Mercedes.
Yeah. But now he's right behind him. He's going to get easy maneuver and Ryan very shortly. He will get DRS open, a easy maneuver for P3.
And DRS is enabled here on lap 4. He's got a good run, but so does Horan. Horan's got the DRS advantage as well. Who's going to outbrake who? It's a game of chicken. Oh, and a good run through the first sector there. Oh, man, I thought T. Jonas was going to try and take him on the outside.
Well, let's see how Ryan defends this corner. If he doesn't defend the inside line, it could be very easy maneuver on T. Jonas. He can still overtake here, but doesn't look like T. Jonas is trying it out.
Ooh.
He plays the long game.
Right up on the gearbox of Ryan Hareen, and you see Ricardo drop the left side tires in the gravel just a little bit up there through Lesmos 1. Going to be fighting that understeer a little bit through here because of the aero wash off of the car in front of him. And Canville-Hoon has been able to pull away over a second, so that puts Ricardo outside of the DRS range.
Now we're just waiting for the pit stops. 6 laps, and I think these drivers are going to pit. Then we're going to see who's going to do the undercut, who's going to stay out a little bit longer than the other.
Jonas gets a good run coming through the parabolic. He's side by side now with Haren, and here comes Wassman. And Jonas takes the he takes the position away from Haren. Wassman to the inside, and Haren's going to lose 2 spots down the front straightaway. He's going to try and hold off Wassman. Going to push him wide. They're rubbing wheels. Wassman gets a good run coming out of the corner, but it's a drag race now down to the second chicane. Haren's trying to pinch him into the grass just a little bit. Got to leave a car width.
Yeah.
Yellow flag sector 1. Wassman trying to go around the outside, and he's going to make it work. He forced his way through there, made it happen, and Hareen drops back into the 5th spot.
That was where it's actually very good overtake. 10 style points for me. But now Tizonis has over once again gap to Wassman and Ryan, so he gets to race his own race now.
We're going to pick up Sam Thompson because Thompson's now closed in on the back of Ryan Hareen, and he is looking to make a pass on him as they head through the Ascari. Less than half a second gap there. Whoa, and a big slide for Thompson as he comes out of Ascari. Hangs onto it. He's in the slipstream of Hareen. Ryan seems to be struggling with the setup of the car.
But then he might have damage. He bumped so many times with so many different drivers. He might have small lane plate damage.
He goes all the way down to the inside, basically down to the pit wall. Here comes Sam Thompson. Thompson with the DRS slot open. Easily gets to the inside of Hareen. He's going to outbrake him, and now Hareen is going to lose another spot as he has dropped to 6th.
And Hareen is out of BOS, so that's also playing its part.
But let's pick up Ricardo because Ricardo is now closed in on Canville-Hoon, so the battle for the lead is starting to heat up.
Yeah. Let's see. I always say, are they going to work together? Are they going to fight each other and let Jonas catch them up? That's the thing.
And it looks like Ryan Hareen did take that spot back from Sam Thompson heading into the second chicane, but we're currently watching this battle for the lead, and it's lap 6. And he said this is basically where the pit window opens for the soft tires, which is just about everybody on track.
Yeah, 4 more laps. Lap 10, lap 11. Then it opens.
And T. Jonas is closing in on this battle.
It's a classic scenario. If the one driver can't get past the leader, nobody can. So if Ricardo decides to stay behind of Canville-Hoon, I don't see that Jonas is going to be able to overtake neither of them. So it's going to be an undercut strategy.
Well, Ricardo's got the DRS, and it looks like Ryan Hareen's going to be the first driver to make a pit stop as he dives into the pits.
Probably says his front wing. He had small lane plate damage. So let's see. Yeah, they're changing his front wing.
Ricardo looking to make a move on Canville-Hoon. Not close enough here. And Paco Suarez getting around Kevin Harrison. Haven't talked much about him today, but he's struggling. He's all the way back in the 11th spot. He's not been able to make any ground. We got a yellow flag, sector 2.
Paco, he spun. So that's a safety car. Paco spin for the safety car.
And Paco Suarez. So everybody's basically going to dive in right now for some tires.
Yeah, you're going to take the mediums to the end. 20 laps with mediums should be an easy job still. The tire degradation in Monza is pretty small, so everybody go to the pits and change the mediums, and we're going to have a new race ahead of us.
So now it's a battle of the pit crews. Kane Vilhoun, Ricardo all diving in along with T. Jonas, the top three hitting the pits now.
This was very bad for Ryan Hureen. He pitted and he has to now drive under the pit lane delta, so he's gonna stay P13. So he lost 11 positions because of safety car coming at the wrong time.
Looks like Kane Vilhoun is going to get out. Oh, and look at this. Mercedes team gets T. Jonas out in front of Ricardo, so Ricardo loses that second spot. So great pit stop by Kane Vilhoun and T. Jonas. Ricardo loses a spot. Rowan Lakely comes out fourth. Luis Wassman is fifth. Sam Thompson sixth. Bjorn Langfeld comes out seventh. Thomas Mumford coming out in eighth. And Ryan Horan just took over a couple of spots, so he's now in the 8th spot.
Yeah. We have to remember there's a lot of double stacking going on between the teams, so few drivers who are not double stacking might jump few positions, so that's always the danger if you're behind your teammate when you do a pit stop.
I didn't even think about that. That's a really good point. Mumford is 9th. Harry Cooper comes out in the 10th spot. Kevin Harrison in 11th. Joachim Storm somehow has managed to get his car into 12th. Jamie Griffiths continues to struggle. He's in 13th. And Paco Suarez threw on hard tires. In fact, Joachim Storm and Paco are the two drivers on hards, and you don't think that's a good call at all.
It's the only call they could make. They were the only drivers to start with the mediums, so, and we know you can't do 20 laps with soft, so they had to play with the cards basically what's being stacked to them. They chose to start with mediums, and now they're paying the ultimate price for it. Like I said in the qualifying, if you start with mediums here, it's a really dangerous risk because of the safety cars.
Yeah, you called it, and that's why we like having a driver analyst with me in the commentator booth.
I mean, it's in most of the tracks. It started with the softest tires, except like Germany and Singapore, but there's a big chance safety car coming in the first 8 laps. Because you don't even have to crash out for the safety car to come.
Yeah, and as we saw with Paco Suarez was able to get his car back on track and get going again, but the safety car still came out.
Yeah, it usually comes two times around the race, so you have to also think about the strategy, and Paco is pitting now. He served the rule, and now he's pitting back to mediums. That was a very good choice from him.
Yeah, that's actually a good strategic call. He's already deep enough in the field. He's not going to lose another spot because of it. And even if he does, he's that deep in the field, it's not going to really matter. So Joachim Storm will be the only driver on the hards. Looks like he's probably going to stay that way. Suarez will drop all the way to the rear of the field. 16th.
Yeah. Ryan comes out in P9. He lost a lot of positions because safety car came 1 lap too late.
And now we've got ourselves a whole new race on our hands right now, and pretty much this is going to be based on pure unadulterated speed at this point. Who's going to be the fastest driver, because it's an even playing field at this point. Car performance is equal. Everybody's on the same laps tires at this point. It's just going to be a matter of who is the fastest driver.
And who can avoid those penalties. It's so easy to take penalties here.
Well, that's a very good point. When we saw how time penalties affected the race last week, and obviously it's when it comes to online gaming, especially in this game, I mean, time penalties, 3 seconds here can be dire.
It could cost you 4 or 3 positions in the race, so yeah.
Well, safety cars in this lap. And Kane Vilhoun really stacking up the field behind them. They're almost side by side. And you can't pass before the start-finish line, and we are gone. T. Jonas and company lost a couple of car lengths to Kane Vilhoun. And 2 wide, they're 2 by 2 heading into turn 1. Ricardo trying to get that second place spot back. T. Jonas gets it. Oh no, somebody's cut the grass. That's Thomas Mumford. Looks like Ryan Horan outbraked himself, blew the chicane.
Yeah.
this? Oh, Ricardo gets overtaken by Rowan Lakely. Lakely makes a great move heading into the second chicane, and now Luis Waxman to the inside, and he's going to bump Ricardo.
It's not that
Oh,
fair.
they got a tuck back in line, and look at this nose to tail. You can throw a blanket over 7 cars right here.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I want to see. We want to see action, baby. Come on.
And now Waxman to the outside of Lakely, going through a Scary. How did he make that work? Unbelievable move. Rowan Lakely almost loses the back end coming out of a Scary.
Oh Jesus Christ, this is like a 10-car race for position. This is Formula 1 at its best.
And now Lakely trying to get to the inside of Ricardo. Ricardo down into 5th. What an unbelievable lap by these guys. I'm surprised nothing happened between all those drivers. Some great driving. And now here comes Ricardo, but Ricardo's bringing Ryan Herren with him. And Herren's going to try and go around the outside, and he's got it. Ryan Herren making the pass on Ricardo. Ricardo drops to 6th.
Yeah, Ryan is now he's in the man in the mission. He has to catch up back to Jonas, Louis Mossman, and Gambi Hoon if he wants to continue this battle for the championship.
And T. Jonas has now closed the gap down to Canville Hoon for the lead of this race. As they head through Lesmos 1 and 2, and then you've got this whole gaggle of cars behind them.
Yeah, now Louis Mossman is holding everybody up. Already 2.4 seconds behind of Jonas and Gambi Hoon, so Louis Mossman basically making sure that the first 2 drivers are pulling away.
A little bit of team strategy there.
Might be. Or then it might be that there's 5 cars battling for P3, which would actually mean that that helps a lot, that the first 2 drivers pull away.
And it looks like Herren gets a good run coming out of a Scar. He's going to go around the outside of Rowan Lakely to pick up the 4th spot. Yellow flag, Sector 3, that's coming out of a Scary. Canville Hoon just ran the fastest lap of the race. He was able to gap T. Jonas by about 0.4 of a second on that lap.
Yeah, we have to wait for one more lap until the OS is going to open. So I don't think we're going to see many overtakes happen before lap 13 when the OS is going to be enabled once again.
And Thomas Mumford and Jamie Griffith have both just dived into the pits. Uh-oh. Mumford switching over to a set of soft tires. Way too early for that.
Way too early? Well, it's on the limit, but I think 50 laps with softs. Yeah, I mean, good luck with that.
And Griffith switching over to hard tires. Whoa! And Lakely almost had an off there at Lesmos. 1, almost lost the car.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, T. Jonas still trying to close in on the gearbox of Canville Hoon. Hoon doing a great job holding him off. Ooh, and another tank slapper from T. Jonas coming out of the Scary.
But I know T. Jonas personally, and I know he's a very smart driver, and he's speaking right now. The gap to P3 is 3 seconds. Why on earth would I risk this big gap to fight against Gambi Hoon? Let's wait until the last laps and settle it in lap 25 and lap 26. Let P3 drivers fight for P3 and make bigger gap.
And that being said, it looks like he's also used a lot of his ERS, so might need to recharge that over the next number of laps as well. Making a lot of adjustments on the steering wheel. Yellow flag Sector 3 again. Looks like we've got somebody off at a Scary.
No, that's safety car. Should be a safety car. BSC.
Who was it?
That was Mumford.
Oh, Thomas Mumford. He crashed out. Okay. Virtual safety car is out. So that's the second virtual safety car we've had. We've had 1 actual safety car. This has been quite a wild race.
Yeah, like old cowboy days in the old west, you know. It's any means necessary, no holds barred race, basically. IRL at its best.
And DRS is enabled. We're back to green flag racing. And this is exactly what T. Jonas needed. T. Jonas needed to get a good jump and get that DRS slot. And he's going to have the ability when he comes down this front straightaway. He was able to recharge that ERS a little bit under the virtual safety car. It didn't last long, but see Kane Vilhoen starting to snake down the front straightaway, try and break up that slipstream a little bit.
But you can see from Team Jonas, he's always putting, I know he's having EOS, but he's putting every single lap EOS to number 2 and number 1. He's not even trying to attack Kane Vilhoen. He's just trying to pull away from Ryan Hireen and Louis Wassman. Not to let these guys join the barbecue party.
And Hireen up to 3rd now. He's got Louis Wassman behind him. Uh-oh, Wassman. Whoa, Wassman and Rowan Lakely! Oh, no! Oh, and around goes Lakely!
Yeah, that was quite aggressive from Louis Wassman.
Oh, and Lakely's retired from the session. Oh, safety come car. On, Rowan.
That's a safety car.
Yellow flag, sector 2. Nope, doesn't look like it's coming out. Rowan Lakely had a really good run going, and unfortunately, I'm going to call that a bona fide rage quit right there.
Bona fide rage quit, yeah. But Louis Wassman was a little bit overambitious. Of course, stewards have to look at it, but I would put the blame on Louis Wassman with the evidence we have now.
You know, it looked like Wassman lost the back end of the car and slid through the chicane and came back across the track, and much like the, it kind of looked like the Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton Canada episode all over again. Hard to say whether or not it was intentional or if he was actually losing control of the car, but Wassman slid back across the track, and unfortunately Lakely tried to put the power down, got the tires in the gravel, and around he went. But still, I can't get behind a rage quit. I just finish the race.
Yeah, never give up, because you never know how race is gonna go.
I mean, if it's anything like Germany last week, you're gonna get points.
You're gonna get podium. You're gonna get a race win. Yeah, but yeah, some people react different way, but you never quit in the middle of the race. If you're already done 15 laps, for God's sake, drive to the end.
And I want to give a little bit of a shout out here to V8 Field. He's talking on the live chat with Sandre Sauerhog, and he's brought up the fact that he had the glitch where he wasn't getting the warnings for corner cutting, so he retired the vehicle. So I want to commend him on that. It's a very mature decision to do that. It was unbeknownst to us that you were having that issue, so I do want to commend him on making that mature decision and taking the car out. And we do have another virtual safety car for another incident on track, and I'm not sure what this one's in relation to.
It's Jamie running wide in the first corner, and
he's lost a complete front wing on the Williams, so Jamie Griffith's race is not going the way that he, I'm sure, anticipated. And it looks like we've got... so now guys are going to jump in. Louis Wassman's hit the pits to swap over to some soft tires. Is now a good time to maybe try and pull and see if that 10 laps will last on those things?
Those tires are going to last for 7 laps until they're going to be much slower than mediums. So not very wise pit stop. For 7 laps he's going to be very fast, but after that he's going to be slower than the rest of the field.
So Louis Wassman taking the gamble, and he's actually going to come out in 11th spot. Meanwhile, T. Jonas and Can Vilhoen. I want a drive-through penalty for Jared Fosbury speeding under the virtual safety car.
Yeah, remember how I said in different league, if a host tries to, do the VSC glitch, go wait in the delta, you're going to get drive-to penalty. Remember when I said, the host is going to get drive-to penalty on the VSC.
And Jamie Griffiths has decided to retire the vehicle in the pit lane and call it a day. So, unfortunately, Jamie Griffiths will get credited with another DNF, and his 30-second time penalty will carry over to the next race that he completes, not contends in. And we've got a 3-horse battle now for the lead of this race. Can Vilhoen out in front, T. Jonas, and it looks like Ryan Hireen maybe...
He definitely... cheating here. He was going wide in the VSC. Catching 2 seconds under the VSC, I believe he was also exploiting that glitch.
That'll be something to be looked at, I'm sure. But yeah, he did definitely catch up a huge bunch. You can see Ricardo is 5.5 seconds back from that battle, driving all by his lonesome. Sam Thompson trying to make a move on Bjorn Langfell. It looks like we got a 4-car battle here for 6th spot. Ooh, and Thompson to the inside. He's going to make it work. Gets by Langfell. Langfell side by side now. Now it's going to go too wide into Lesmos 1. It's not going to work. Kevin Harrison getting caught up in this melee. And Harrison, another race for Harrison. It's not gone the way that he anticipated, I'm sure.
No, at this point, it's going to be, after next race, mathematically impossible for him to defend his championship. So it's just slipping away, race by race, little by little. Digging his own grave every race.
Which is a real shame. We haven't had a 2-time Formula 2 champion just yet. And well, I guess we'll have to wait and see another year.
Another year, another time. Well, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and we know maybe next race Johnny's is gonna retire and stuff like that. So it's not over until the fat lady sings.
Harrison trying to make a move on Bjorn Langfell heading down into turn 1. Not close enough. Joachim Storm picks up a 3-second time penalty. But we got Ryan Hareen and T. Jonas side by side at the second chicane. Oh, and they make contact! Oh my goodness!
That's what I said! That's what I said! It only takes for leader, championship leader to do that, and you're in a different position.
And Ryan Hareen resets his car back to the track as opposed to driving back onto track.
It's not allowed in the IRL. It's not allowed. You get a penalty for that. 100% penalty for that. But that's the difference in Formula 1. 1 second you are hero of F2, and the next second you been into the wall and you have damage. Championship is never over. One mistake can cost everything to you. And that's the beauty of this sport.
And now Ricardo finds himself sitting in 2nd spot. And Ryan Hareen and T. Jonas. Now, Hareen's got end plate damage on the left front part of his wing, so he'll have to pit. I'm trying to see if T. Jonas has got any damage, but it doesn't look like it.
He was lucky. It doesn't look like it's big. It's small maybe, but Ryan Hareen has to pit. But he's staying out. Looks like his whole left side is completely broken. He's missing the whole left side of his car.
Well, he'll definitely be fast on the straightaways.
Yeah, well, you don't have so much downforce in your car. It's going to be fast in straight lines, so... yeah.
But it looks like there's going to be some investigation after that, as we saw. We saw he reset the car to the track. And per IRL rules, you're saying that's a penalty, so he's not allowed to do that. You're supposed to drive back onto the track in a safe manner as well. Let's make sure that's clear.
Yeah, exactly. Safe manner. You have to wait for everybody else to get past you, and then you can return back to the track.
So championship contenders racing each other still, and...
Ooh, sidebus.
Ooh!
Whoa! Okay, Ryan didn't leave him enough space. That was just Ryan's frustration.
Meanwhile, Ken Vilhoen is now breathing a sigh of relief. He's got a 6.8 second lead over Ricardo. Ricardo's got a 3.2 second lead over T. Jonas. Ryan Hareen, his race is basically falling apart. Here comes Sam Thompson, Kevin Harrison, and Harry Cooper. And a safety car is out.
I think Paco spun. I believe Paco has... No, wait. It's...
Paco Schwartz is missing his front wing, and Nelson Santos right behind him has got half of his wing missing, so... There's parts.
Everybody's at pit.
Oh no, the drive-through penalty for Ricardo speeding under the safety car.
Unbelievable.
What is going on in this race today? And Ken Vilhoen pits and throws on a fresh set of softs. It's going to be a mad dash to the end of this race. And
it's going to be like 100-meter sprint.
Now, somehow, Vilhoen just let Luis Wassman go around him, and Wassman's now going to swap that back. So, as it stands, really, Ken Vilhoen is still the leader of this race because now Ricardo has that drive-through penalty under the safety car conditions.
Yeah, it looks like Luis Wassman somehow has jumped the Jonas for P2, so it's a racing point 1 and 2.
Well, T. Jonas went into the pits. Wassman has stayed out. He's got 4 laps on those soft tires. He has stayed out on the soft, so everybody else has dived into the pits. Joachim Storm stayed out on his mediums. That bumped him up into 9th, but mediums at this point, and Storm is not the fastest driver for sure. This is really going to cost him. I think he's going to fall through the field.
It's going to fall through the field like a butter or knife. It's going to be like a, you know, fat guy on KFC ordering the chicken, and it's going to be not so easy. He should have pitted. He has still time to pit. So,
well, safety car's going to do at least another lap or 2. Now, Ricciardo has to serve his drive-through penalty under green flag conditions. And it is a drive-through, so if he wants fresh tires, he should pit, put on the softs, and then serve his drive-through under the green flag conditions. I mean, Ricciardo's race is really just falling apart at this point.
Yeah, it's falling apart. He should just pit on the tires, but he's staying out. He's staying out. He's not pitting. So emotions running high probably at the moment.
Yeah, and I don't understand that. I mean, I understand he's in the lead of this race right now, but he knows he's got a drive-through penalty. He's got 13-lap-old medium tires. Everybody behind him is on fresh softs with the exception of Luis Wassman. I mean, you're going to be basically a moving chicane for everybody on track at that point, and you know you have the drive-through to serve. Or maybe he's going to try and gamble. He's not going to serve the penalty, and it'll get tacked onto
you get disqualified.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. If you don't have it in the 3 laps, your game is going to disqualify you from the race. And yeah, he has a drive-through penalty. So I was wondering that is it a drive-through, because sometimes the game can give you like a 10-second penalty, but usually it's a drive-through. But yeah, is it just paid or?
So Ricciardo making his IRL F2 debut, showed some good pace early on in the race, but unfortunately now, even though he's leading, he's got a drive-through penalty because of speeding under the safety car, and he's on very old medium tires at this point in comparison to everybody else. And with low tire degradation at this track under speed, I mean, even though you're circulating the track right now under the safety car, there's basically no tire wear being put on those soft tires.
No, basically not. Maybe 1% or 2%, but yeah, I believe in the end the tires will be like 25% only in the end, so low tire deg. Which means we can have a sprint.
Definitely going to have a sprint race when this is all over. Looks like the safety car is going to do at least one more lap around. Looks like all the cars are finally going to be getting... looks like Jared Fosbury is finally catching up to the pack as they come out on the front straightaway. Man, this is going to be a crazy 5-6 laps.
Maybe this is strategy from Ricciardo. There's one more glitch you can exploit in Codemasters games. Because when the safety car is leaving, you control the gap. And when safety car is in the pits, and if he's slowing gap so much, he can just go pedal to the metal, go to the pits, serve his drive-to penalty, and everybody else is stuck in the pit lane delta still. So there's that glitch, so he might actually return back in P1 if he does it correctly.
That would be very interesting. How do you know all these glitches?
I've been trying them out myself in the past, and I have many friends who have tried it out in the past. You have to know the glitches. You have to do everything you can to win a Grand Prix. I don't want to compare us to real-life drivers because we are just guys sitting in a chairs and playing with wheel or pad, but still, we are opportunistic people. Like, we're still gonna try to cheat our way to wins. That's any means necessary in league racing. Only winners are remembered.
So we'll keep an eye on Ricciardo and see what happens here. That would be an interesting strategy. You can see the safety cars in this lap, and it's starting to pull away.
Let's see, does he know about it? But it's a glitch, you can do it. I know 100% you can do that glitch. If you get a drive under the safety car, you can just go to the pits with the safety car and return back in the position you just did, but it doesn't look like he's doing it.
Looks like he's really bottling up the cars on the backstretch here. And looks like now he's on the pedal. going through Parabolica. Now remember, you cannot pass until the start-finish line, so hopefully nobody tries to be overly ambitious heading down the front straightaway. And Cam Vilhoun already closing in, and T. Jonas coming in. Ooh, he's going to try to make a move on Luis Wassman down into turn 1. Wassman able to hold him off. Good defensive move there by Wassman. And this is where team order should come into effect. Wassman's got to do everything he can to hold T. Jonas back and let Cam Vilhoun walk away with the win of this race.
Yeah, Ricardo has to serve his penalty this lap, or else he's disqualified from the Grand Prix, from the game.
And Cam Vilhoun trying to make a move down this back straightaway. He's all over the gearbox. Now he's side by side. Ascari's not a very good place to try and make a pass.
No, it's not. But because of Ricardo, Can is losing a lot of times, and look at the train behind of Ricardo right now. We're gonna have a 4-car race for the win.
No, I'd be very frustrated if I was Cam Vilhoun right now. Vilhoun's gonna make the move going into the Parabolica. We'll see what Ricardo does. And Ricardo's gonna stay out.
That's very interesting because he has dropped a penalty and he should be disqualified.
3 wide in the turn 1. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, exactly. That was idiotic from Ricardo. Very idiotic.
Oh no, and oh my goodness, Wassman!
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's Vilhoun! It's Vilhoun that got hit by Jonas! Oh, this race is just...
What on earth is happening?
And now Harry Cooper's retired from the session, and this is now becoming a mess of a race.
This is becoming Jesus Christ, I don't know what massive execution Grand Prix.
Ricardo, I don't know what Ricardo was thinking. I don't know if he was trying to make the corner, but he took basically he hit both of the Racing Point cars into each other. And then, unfortunately, Cam Vilhoun, who was pretty much in command of this race, now has got wing damage. He's just lost a bunch of spots to Ascari. He got hit by T. Jonas at turn 3. I mean, everything is just falling apart. Luis Wassman still has the ability to walk away with the win for Racing Point, but and Ricardo still out on track.
In all this quietness, Kevin Harrison has moved himself to P3 position. We were talking that he's not performing so well, but now he is in P3. Really close to T. Jonas.
And T. Jonas has made the move on Luis Wassman for the top spot. So that is, that's probably going to be the move of the race right there. That's going to be race done for just about everybody. Harrison maybe has the ability to maybe catch Wassman for second, and I'm surprised he's been able to work his way into third, given where he was running earlier in this race. We haven't talked much about him because he's been so deep in the field, and Wassman just picked up a 3-second time penalty, so Harrison's possibly looking at a podium finish here for second.
But if it, well, yeah, I mean, 4 cars out of his way, he comes from P7 to P3. Thank you very much, I'll take these positions. So, yeah, anything can happen in Formula 1. One time you're a hero, 1 second you're a loser. That's how quickly it changes.
And Jamie Griffin saying that there's definitely some controversy on the live chat.
Yeah.
And quick shout out to... so Ryan Hareen has managed to find his way back into the 4th spot, and somehow Paco Suarez, given all the struggles that he's had today, is in 5th. So well, good on Paco.
Yeah. We have to remember he's the one who's caused all the safety cars here today, so interesting tactics. Maybe for all we need to hire him, who knows.
Now Luis Wassman hasn't completely lost touch with T. Jonas as we are on the penultimate lap of this race, but he's not close enough to make a move to try and get that top spot. Plus he's got that 3-second time penalty hanging over his head. I don't know if Harrison's got any time penalties or not.
Yeah. We don't want to know that. We don't want to spoil the surprise for the viewers and for ourselves. We want to know. We have no idea who's going to win this Grand Prix, and that's very exciting.
It's like that HTA race we did yesterday, and then the guy came out on top by a 1/10 of a second over the guy who actually crossed the line.
He won barely. He had like a 6-7 second lead, but he won like by 3 or 4 tenths. And then we saw people from P2 to P6 jump each other like, I don't know, like pinballs or something.
So Ricardo has dived back into the pits. He is currently in 12th. So Ricardo's debut race is not going to end the way that it started. It started out very well. He was very quick. He was running in second. Got jumbled up a little bit after the first safety car, and then he was just leading the race, but he got the drive-through penalty that he had to serve. So Ricardo's race, he might be trying to go for fastest lap now, but he's not going to garner the point because you got to finish in the top 10. So.
Yeah. And now we have a P3, P4, and P5 fight between Kevin Harrison and Ryan Hurin and Paco Suarez.
And here we go. Hurin's going to make the pass for third. Here comes Suarez. Suarez down to the inside of Harrison. Great move by Paco Suarez, and Harrison was a little timid going through there. It looked like he probably could have been a little bit more decisive with defending, but Suarez taking the spot. So down the front straightaway, Harrison gets the raw end of a 2-for-1 deal as he loses 2 spots in one corner.
Yeah, 2 spots in one corner, and now this means Paco Suarez might actually, after crashing out so many times here today, get a podium. So it really reminds me of Nelson Piquet and Renault, causing safety cars deliberately and, you know, getting the team good results. So Paco's doing an excellent job at the moment.
And Ken Vilhoun just ran the fastest lap of this race. Unfortunately, he is in 11th, so that's not going to be any good for him. That's really a disappointing race. Ken Vilhoun. Oh no, it's Suarez! No! Paco Suarez.
Oh my God.
So okay, Kevin Harrison.
That's karma. That's karma. That's karma for you, man.
So here we go. T. Jonas coming through the Parabolica for the last time. He's going to come across the line. Luis Wassman is second. Ryan Hurin will get third. Kevin Harrison is, oh my goodness, Kevin Harrison dropping through the field because of time penalties. Bjorn Langfeld is fourth. Sam Thompson is fifth. Kevin Harrison drops. He's continuing to drop. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Sam Thompson is, look at this. Jared Fosbury, because of time penalties, comes home fifth. Unbelievable. Joachim Storm, 10th. My God. Suarez will cross the line in 8th.
Oh, what a great race. I'm still in shock what we saw. This was something else.
And Ken Vilhoun coming across the line in 11th. You know he's got to be fuming underneath that helmet right now. And he's going to get a 5-second time penalty tacked onto his ending time because of an unserved penalty. And we wait for Ricardo. No, we don't wait for Ricardo, so good enough. What a crazy, crazy race this was. And Paco Suarez, I mean, a third of the track left to go for a podium finish.
That was battle of the day, battle of the year, battle of the season. I hope he's ready to become a meme, because he's going to become a meme on Twitter, on YouTube. He is going to become a YouTube meme in league racing sites.
So another controversial race for sure. We'll go over the unofficial results, but I would definitely stay tuned into the Twitter feed to see what kind of news and notes are going to pop out after this race. This has just been this has been way too hectic. This is.
My heartbeat is still up. Jesus Christ. Dude,
so unofficially, T. Jonas walks away with the win. Ryan Hurin is second. Luis Wassman is third. Bjorn Langfeld is fourth. Jared Fosbury with a 5th place finish. That is a great result for him. Sam Thompson is 6th. Kevin Harrison falls all the way to 7th because of 11 seconds worth of time penalties. Paco Suarez is 8th. Nelson Santos 9th. Joachim Storm walks away with a championship point. Didn't think that would happen. Ken Vilhoun is 11th. Ricardo comes from 12th. And then 13th through 17th is all DNFs. And that is Harry Cooper, Jamie Griffiths, Rowan Lakely, Thomas Mumford, and V8 Field.
Yeah, that was a great Grand Prix. Like we've said so many times, even Hollywood writers can't script this stuff. It's really dramatic races, action-packed drama races. He deserves an Oscar, definitely.
So, I will try and get... I don't think Ryan will show up for the interview. He never does, but... we'll get him in here anyways. And T. Jonas already working in the share factory on what he's going to have to report, I'm sure, some sort of altercation throughout the course of this race. So we'll see if he joins. Luis Wassman, surprise podium for him. So, unbelievable race. While we wait for them to join, I mean, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Be sure to get caught up on all the other races. Check us out on Twitter at F1_IRL. And what can I say? I mean, the last couple of weeks here have been just bonkers.
Yeah, it's been really bonkers, like very exciting Grand Prix. And now we have the podium drivers joining us here today. So, do your thing.
So we got T. Jonas and Luis Wassman in here with us. I don't even know where to start. A bit of a hectic race there at the end. We'll start with T. Jonas since you're the race winner unofficially as it is right now. A little bit of controversy between you and Can Vilhoen there. Looks like there was some contact made, and the race was fairly hectic to begin with. How would you describe today's events?
Hectic is a good word. I don't think I had any contact with Can. I had some contact with Ryan, but I didn't feel like that was my fault. I haven't seen it back though, so but myself I felt like I had a clean race, so I'm not expecting any penalties. So yeah, but it was a hectic one, a lot of things happening, and probably a lot of things that the stewards will have a look into, and we'll see what they have to say about a few of the mistakes there, or incidents.
Well, congratulations on the win. And Luis Wassman, you came home third. I mean, again, hectic race. Where you weren't even looking at a podium for most of the race.
No. After I crashed with Ryan, I was running in P10 with new softs, and the safety car came, and I was nearly in P2. I was just behind my teammate, which was unlucky. I got ahead of him, but the game told me to let him back past. I think I was ahead, but well. Anyways, the crash on the straight with the Renault and the McLaren and my teammates. I don't know what happened there, but I was in the middle. My teammate was on the right, and the McLaren just turns into us both, and I spin him around because I have nowhere to go, and yeah, then I have to cut the chicane in the first one, and when I return the track, there was the McLaren on the left slowing down, and I had to go to his right side, and yes, then came back, just ran into my back, and it ruined his race, so pretty unlucky. So I think I can be lucky if I get the podium, because there were many incidents and I don't know what the stewards will say about it, but we will see.
Well, I mean, hectic is the only way we can really describe it. I mean, for just about everyone involved. I don't even know what to say. I mean, after this kind of race, I mean, it's so much going on track, and it's so much to be looked at afterwards. I mean, are you guys going to be reporting anything to the stewards on any incidents that you had with other drivers?
You?
I'm for sure. Yeah, I'm already into the share factory, so
I saw that when I went to invite you that you were already in Share Factory. I assumed you were already working on a report. Yeah, I mean, just a crazy race. So I mean, T. Jonas, I mean, this, I mean, with if things stand the way that they are, I mean, this pretty much locks up the championship for you. I mean, mathematically, you know, the other drivers will still be mathematically capable of, you know, taking it from you, but you would have to hit a really bad string of luck here the last few races, and I don't foresee that coming. How do you feel going into the next round with such a huge gap in the points lead now?
I don't feel super confident. This is probably my last good track. It's Suzuka in Brazil, I think, for the last two, and I don't really feel that comfortable around any of them. So my goal will probably just to get myself home into the points and don't pick up any penalties and stuff like that, and maybe get saved by a safety car or two. So I'm not overconfident before the before it's mathematical or impossible.
And Luis, speaking of the last two tracks, heading into Suzuka and Brazil, I mean, do you feel like they're a little bit better track for you? A little bit more confidence heading into those 2 rounds?
So I have to say, Italy, I really didn't enjoy it, because when you have every assist off, it's really hard to break there, and I had really some lockups into the chicane, and I got a 3-second time penalty because of cutting the chicane, because the locking up on this track. So I didn't like this track and the next tracks. Suzuka I really enjoy, but I don't think I'm faster, and Brazil is the same. So I don't think the next tracks are the nicest one for me. So I'm hoping maybe 1 podium out of 2 races would be possible. But yes.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck heading into the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Eric, you got anything you want to add for these guys?
I'm not. You pretty much handled it. I'm just gonna say that I hope Tijanis likes Freddie Mercury and the Queens, because he'll be hearing that famous song after the next race. We might actually, be ready for that in the next round.
Yeah, well, you're bringing the karaoke machine.
Yeah, I have a SingStar on my PS2, so I'll take the microphone, I'll take the headset, and we're gonna sing it together. Like, we're not gonna sing it now, we're gonna sing it next one when we this episode. Yeah, I promise you that.
Well, congratulations on the win, and congratulations on your podium, Luis, and look forward to seeing you guys the next round. So, I guess we'll sign off. I mean, this has been another incredible round at IRL, International Racing League F2 tier and F1 2019 on the PS4 platform. Guys, again, like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Twitter at F1_IRL. And we will see everybody next week, same time, same channel, new track. It'll be Suzuka next week. And we'll see everybody at the next round.